Hey folks, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. Today is Thursday, January 28th, and the topic of this video, the main focus is going to be on SLV iShares Silver Trust. So we'll look at SLV, some charting, and some overall news and events. So we'll look at some news and events before we jump into the SLV chart and the overall broader market. And before we jump into today's video, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. And just as a reminder, I'm nursing a broken hand, so a little bit of a different format, and I'm using my left hand, so bear with me. So moving into the news and events, we saw that the US economy closes out 2020 with lower than expected 4% gain as the GDP in the US grew at 4% annualized pace in the fourth quarter, below the 4.3 Dow Jones estimate. So they came in with a little bit of a miss there, and you can check out the numbers here. We also had some new home sales, and we had the initial jobless claims today as well. Those came in with a slight beat. So, but we're still seeing over 840,000 people file for jobless claims. First time ever filing. So South Carolina health officials detect first known case of the problematic variant from South Africa. So we'll continue to monitor those headlines. Pelosi says House will take first step to pass the relief next week with or without GOP. And Robinhood restricts trading in GameStop and other names involved in a frenzy. So we saw AMC, we saw GameStop, we saw SNDL, a cannabis stock, and just an absolute crazy day. We're starting to see silver as the next potential pump, but we'll look at the chart here and we can see if we can get an idea of what to expect there. Interactive Brokers said they restricted GameStop trading to protect the market, says chairman. And we also saw that Webull lifted the restrictions on a lot of these names. And then the stocks seemed to do better after that news came out. And Robinhood customers sue over removal of GameStop and other companies. So let me know in the comments below if you were rattled by the platforms restricting trading, because in my opinion, it gets very controversial. I won't go into it too much, but it seems like most of the market is manipulated by people with money and press releases and, market makers controlling the market. But when they, get the tables turned around on them, they can't stand it for a minute. So it's kind of just nice to see, get them to taste of their own medicine, so to speak. SNDL stock cannabis play, Sundial's growers flies high on Reddit stocks rally. So we'll jump over to some charting now. We'll look at iShares SLV Silver Trust. So first thing I'll point out is the volume here on the daily, which was massive. That's the most volume we've seen on the daily since all the way back here in August. And beyond that, that's the most volume since 2011. So second highest volume day since 2011. And if we just give you an average comparison here of the 20 period moving average volume, it's all the way down here at, let's just bring up the volume here. That is absolutely insane. Volume, 146 million shares traded. So if 146 million shares times an average of, say, conservative $20, it's almost $3 billion traded on that ticker alone. And this is an ETF, so you can purchase it in a TFSA or an RSP in Canada or a registered account. So it's nice to be able to get exposure to silver as well. I was looking for exposure. We were looking for daily higher lows. So when we broke the high of yesterday, obviously we started the daily bounce and we had huge volume today. We are not overbought on the daily time frame. We do have resistance on the daily up at 25.74. So that'll be a level to get through. And then after that, 26.75 and ultimately 27.39. If we can get over 27.39 though, we're looking pretty good. So we'll just zoom out to the weekly. So weekly trying to hold the EMAs and just taking a look. Volume on the weekly is increasing. Still got one more trading day. So we'll see if volume picks up even more tomorrow. but so far holding EMA 12, and we're looking to change the weekly trend. We're coming off a weekly downtrend with a lower high into a lower low. So we'll look to form a low, high, higher low here and break to new highs. If we can change that daily trend, we can be confident of those weekly higher lows. So did we change the weekly trend, or the daily trend, sorry? Hit a low here of 2284. So we held that higher low, higher high, higher low, hit a low of 2294. So we held those higher lows. We did have a little bit of a bear flag here with a lower high and lower low, but not a very clear pivot point. So I would consider that a daily uptrend in my opinion. Looks like weekly higher lows are set. We did break the inside bar. Looks like, no, it wasn't quite an inside bar there, but we did break the high of the previous week. So weekly bounce is still underway. And again, resistance up at 25.74. And on the weekly, no real resistance until 27.39. And then all the way up to 31.30 and 31. So that's what we can expect. I'll run through this a little faster now. So again, we'll want to lose the hourly uptrend to be confident that the daily move is finished. So we'll watch a potential double top up here at 25.74. And by then we will be getting a little extended as well. So moving on, we'll take a look at the weekly time frame. So we are holding the 10-week moving average. It was acting as support the entire way up, but then we tested it, ultimately lost it, tested it as resistance, we reclaimed it. Now we're testing support. We've got essentially 4 touches now, 4 weeks in a row, holding that. So you could enter, I entered a position today with the intention of setting my stop below that. So say a stop around below $22 or $22.50 would be a good level in my opinion. Again, this is just not for financial advice, it's just my personal opinion. And taking a look at the stochastic, it's looking to cross bullish here, and the MACD is crossing bullish as well. So if we can close the week out with this stochastic, with this black line crossing through the red and closing above the red, that will be very, very strong, and the MACD strong as well. I will be swinging this over the weekend tomorrow. So we'll check back on that tomorrow. But on the weekly moving averages, you can see we are well above the 50, 100, and the 200 weekly moving average. And taking a look at the daily moving averages, you can see that we have the 50 crossing through the 100, and we're holding the 50 DMA, and the 200 is all the way down at 2090. But so far, holding that 50 DMA, that's going to be a very crucial level in my opinion going forward, which is down at 23.31. So very important support as well on the longer term scale. And taking a look at the VWAP, you can see here we were holding the VWAP and we closed below it a couple of times, but ultimately held. And again, if you would have set your stop below those recent lows, could have set your stop below 22.50, and you would have been here along on the ride to see upwards of 25 plus. So we'll see if the bulls can carry the momentum into tomorrow, close near the high of the day. So that was nice to see. Weekly bouncing off the VWAP as well. Actually didn't close near the high of the day, but it closed more bullish than it was bearish, that's for sure. So I'm just confusing that with a different ticker. But you can see the weekly VWAP also acting as strong support. So we'll see how this plays out tomorrow. We'll look at the overall broader market here next, and then we'll look at a few individual tickers. So we'll run through this a little quickly here. So SPY saw some selling into the end of the day, and QQQ as well, essentially just flat here after hours. But SPY saw an upper wick of profit taking, QQQ upper wick of profit taking, and this comes off of Tesla, Apple, and Facebook earnings. So we'll take a look at the dollar. The dollar is still holding up relatively well, looking to bounce off EMA 12 and 26. We could see a bull cross of those EMAs here, which would be the first time since all the way back at $94 when we lost that. So we're seeing some telltale signs here and some momentum. We're in a daily uptrend, scouting daily higher lows. Resistance is going to be 90.95 and then 91.01. So 91, very important resistance. Most important support is going to be 90. So see if we maintain a tightening range into tomorrow. IWM We had an inside bar to be watching into tomorrow. And SMH, the semiconductor ETF, up over 2%. We did project at EMA 12 though, and we need to change hourly trends to be confident that daily higher lows are set, and a lot of these names didn't. The solar sector saw a nice bounce today, had a break of the low of yesterday, but mostly a fake out, and bulls bought the dip. US oil showing a little bit of weakness here, looking to potentially lose EMA 12. If we lose that, we'll look to EMA 26, but we are basically flirting with daily downtrends here with a lower high into a lower low. So if we break to a new low here convincingly, if we lose 51.46, that will confirm daily downtrend on oil and a significant momentum shift as well. EMA 26 going to be important at 50.98. So silver up over 5%, congrats to the bulls there. We saw huge volume as well. We saw gold a little bit weaker today. Closed essentially flat with upper wick of profit taking, close under the EMAs. So definitely seeing silver stronger in comparison to gold. XBI down about 0.5%. We have an inside bar on watch as well. XHB, same deal. XLE, same deal. Closes slightly green though, over 1%. And XLF broke the high of yesterday, but again, we're potentially seeing daily crosses of these EMA 12 through 26 EMAs, and that will be a significant momentum shift once again. XLV, the healthcare sector, upper wick of profit taking and close under EMA 12. Pretty much the same story all around. And just taking a quick peek at VIX as well. I was curious to what VIX did today. So we closed, inside bar. So I mentioned this in my video from yesterday that we were expecting an inside bar as the most likely scenario, and that's what we got. So we'll be watching this inside bar range tomorrow. But again, most important thing is going to be, can these names change their hourly trends and set daily higher lows? So we'll need to confirm hourly uptrends to be confident in that. But based on this pullback here on VIX, we would anticipate an hourly equilibrium and a lower high compared to 37.21. We have support down at 27.40, 27.39, not 27.40. And then after that, we're looking down at 25.55. But this could be a potential hourly bear flag as well. And if we do lose these lows, then that will confirm an hourly bear flag, and we'll be looking to hourly downtrends at that point. So taking a look at some individual names, Apple closed weak down here after hours. Not surprising, to be honest with you. We did see some rising wedges in QQQ and SPY, so I'll just show you those real quick before we jump into Apple. But taking a look at SPY here. So on the day, in the beginning of the day, we were watching these rising wedges. Got a few lines here, I'll just clean that up. So we were watching these rising wedges, and usually what happens, I said, watch out for a break, a potential break on QQQ and SPY, and taking a look at QQQ. So this is a little bit more, I have it drawn out a little bit better here. So we respected this rising wedge on the 5-minute, and it was a slow grind up all day long. Bulls bought those dips in the pre-market, and like I said, it was just a slow and steady grind up. We broke bearish out of that wedge, and we ultimately held the EMAs, and we see this time and time again, where if we just extend that out a little bit longer, you can see that we usually come back, we fake out, we test the EMAs, we set a potential 5-minute bull flag and trend change, and we fake them out. It's a bull trap, and we reject at that old support line, which is now resistance, and then that's when we get the real move down. And we just saw that. I shorted here on that back test of 326. Also shorted on the 326 over here, and was essentially a double top. So just looking to see that continuation and bearish and bull trap that we saw in bearish momentum. And that's exactly what we got. And what gave me confident in entering that was the weakness in Apple. We just saw lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, barely broke, but couldn't even get to EMA 12 rejecting at the EMA since it lost it. And like I said, just closed week, we saw huge bear volume coming in, which gave me more confidence, and just absolute bear show here into the day. And wouldn't be surprised if we see a decent gap down open tomorrow in the markets in SPY and QQQ, especially QQQ. But I'll be doing another video here momentarily on the cannabis sector. I may do an update on the crypto space depending on how much action and what there is to update. So we'll just take a look at some other tickers here. So Tesla as well closed down over 3% and closed a little bit better here, not as weak. We didn't lose the low of the day. So Apple lost the low of the day, so that was notable. So Tesla holding up relatively well. Facebook wasn't spared either, down over 2.5% selling into the end of the day. It did lose the low of pre-market and set a new low of the day. So Tesla standing out as one of the strongest. So taking a look at BlackBerry, down over 40% today. I feel bad for a lot of people in this. I called this out yesterday in my video. I said, personally, if it were me, and when we topped out here, we saw this daily candle with the bearish reversal blow off top when we were breaking to $30. And mind you, I called this out after the Amazon news. I said to potentially looking for entries and daily higher lows and weekly higher lows around the $6 and $7 range. And that's where you wanted to buy it and go long, in my opinion. Now the move is over. Now you wait for daily consolidation, which we're going through right now. Or maybe you're a more patient bull and you want to wait for weekly consolidation. So maybe down around the $11 or $10 range. So once you see something run hundreds of percent, you need to dial it back a little bit. We even had a daily bear flag. A bull flag. You could have entered with a stop below that low. And even then you could have made another phenomenal trade and made 100% from that daily bull flag confirming. So that was another trade opportunity. But up here, anywhere beyond even this daily inside bar, you could have traded that with a stop below, and you could have entered on the break of that inside bar. Even from that entry, you'd be up about 50%. But now if you're buying at 22, or if you're buying 20 and above, you're just chasing. And we had that reversal candle and blow off top confirmed. And we are trying to hold EMA 12 here, but again, I said if we lost $25 after we broke 25, when we were at $28, I said if we lose 25, I would be setting a stop below $25. If we lose $25, I'd be out like a bat out of hell, for lack of better words, and I'd be running for the hills. And exactly, if you would have taken that recommendation, again, not advice, but simply for educational purposes only, you would have saved yourself about 45% of downside. So we'll want to change the hourly trends back to the bulls to be confident in daily higher lows. We are heading to hourly oversold. We didn't quite print it. We got close there today, but we didn't quite print it yet. And looking to change those hourly trends. So 1340, most important support. And if we can hold that, set this higher low here and break to a higher high. We didn't really see a clear bounce yet though. So what I would like to see to be very confident that the daily higher lows are set is something like this. Maybe we bounce to the EMAs, we pull back, set a higher low compared to 1340, and then boom, we break up, confirm an uptrend, then we can look to potential new highs. But until we change those hourly trends, like most, we're not there yet, and this is a pass for now for me. NKLA down almost 20%, DDD over 10% down, Space 7%. So we're starting to see some of those high flyers and momentum names starting to cool off. We saw Riot bouncing up over 10% today, with Bitcoin and Ethereum seeing almost 10% gains here as well. Uber up over 7%, Air Canada up over 5%. So that's going to pretty much do it for the individual tickers. And if there's anything else that you would like clarified or any tickers covered, please let me know in the comments below. Once again, thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and check back with us a little later for a cannabis sector update for US and Canada markets. Again, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you again real soon.